allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Steve Eisenbarth.
Present.
Robert Pope.
Present.
Aaron Tevabaugh.
Present.
Don Loudon.
Present.
Greg Zuzan.
Present.
First up, we've got the NOVA Award presentation. Brian, I think you're going to do that this evening.
Yes, ma'am, I sure will. Brian Nugent, I'm Deputy Chief of Police here with Avon PD. Want to just kind of, first of all, recognize Jared Wade, our Communications Director. The Avon NOVA Award is something that he established at his own discretion here and just less than his first year here at the town of Avon. So Jared is a very humble individual, but every time we go through these awards, I just kind of look at it like it's something that he deserves some recognition for. So we want to thank Jared for starting this program. And for the month of December, the committee, which involved myself and a few others, reviewed a handful of applications, and we selected Tony. So Tony, if you want to come up here for a minute so I can embarrass you for just a few. Got the just a few minutes here. You got to stand within view of the camera so people can see you. No, so this is a really awesome opportunity for me to also be able to present Tony this award. Tony and I have been friends for quite some time here in Avon, and his list just goes on and on. So I kind of just did some highlights here that I wanted to share with everybody. And anybody that doesn't know Tony must be new to the town of Avon, because if you've lived here for any period of time, you're very well aware of his positive attitude, his engagements. And once you get to know this individual's heart, it speaks clearly for itself. So some of the things that Tony's been involved in, and these are all things events that it's dedication of his time, his skills, his resources, and you just can't say enough about what Tony's meant to our community. So a couple of things he did highlight-wise was a graduate of our Citizens Police Academy. It was a lot of fun to watch him experience the effects of the taser, driving the police vehicles and going through all of the fun stuff that we did in the class. Just always engaging, asking good questions, opening dialogue, and standing in the gaps of communication when they arise. The Avon Community Lip Dub is something that he spent a lot of time and effort in doing. A lot of our town staff was integrated with that. Our school students, the police department, just really reaching out and doing some fun things that can be memorialized in videos online that we can continue to watch for years to come. He also was the mastermind behind the police department's lip sync video that we did. That was definitely a step out of our comfort zone, but into his world. And so just the creative genius that Tony brings to these sort of projects and these programs and what that means to our community, it means so much to us. He's always been a supporter of things like Susie's Place Child Advocacy Center, making videos to help educate people about the terrible nature of these crimes that children face and what can he do to help stand in that role and really show people how they can support such a great entity. We had a peaceful assembly here at the town hall, a lot of the political and social tensions, and we get caught up in times of left versus right, the political ideologies and some of the divisiveness. But he was here that day and standing in the gap and having conversations with people and having constructive dialogue. And that meant a lot to myself and some others here for the town. I know he's done work for the Avon Education Foundation. They did had used a different path of fundraising and engagement with the community, and did a lot of things on the internet and competitions between notable people in our community. And so there was also a video that he helped with a Declaration of Independence, where we brought people across the community and read portions of the document itself. And so when you just see the amount of things that Tony has been a part of, it just really opens up your eyes to the fact that there's a lot of time, there's a lot of expertise, there's a lot of skill that goes into that. Just an incredible amount of resources and time. And that time is the time that comes from his family. And his wife Jill's here today, a couple of their children as well, Brody, Brevin, and Bryn. There are times that he's taking away from his family to work on these projects. And so to know that he has that family at home that realizes they're having to share their time with their dad and their husband just is a remarkable notation, if you would, with regards to the family. So I've always admired Tony personally. And when we started having the discussions about the NOVA Award, Tony was the first one in my mind to think about things that he's done in his time commitment. So Tony, we appreciate everything you've done. Continue to appreciate your friendship. Continue to appreciate everything you've done for our town, everything you're going to continue to do for our town. And so with that, we're happy to award the NOVA Award to you for the month of December. So I think Jared's got that. Somebody's got it over here somewhere. was over here by the table. So if we can get that over here, but congratulations.
No. We'll be here all night.
You want to take a few minutes for photographs?
Can we take a short recess?
Yeah. We'll go ahead and take a short recess. Okay, we'll come back to order and move on with the consent agenda. Is there any conversation or communication or discussion?
The only question I have is, do we need a signature page on the ADA and Title VI report? The other two prior to that had it, that's why I'm asking.
No, you don't.
Okay.
I'll make a motion. We approve the check register for 16 December 21, the minutes for the 2 December 21 meeting, the risk management report, internal controls report, and the ADA and Title VI report as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a first and a second. Julie?
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Don Loudon,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
Aaron Teveba,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth.
4.
All right, next is public comment. The public may comment on items on the agenda that are not part of a public hearing or on a specific matter within the council's jurisdiction. Is there anyone that would like to come forward? No one coming forward. We'll close public comment. Move on to department updates.
Bill Peoples, I'm the planning director here at the town. I'm going to keep this real brief. The BZA's meeting over there, they had one item on the meeting over in the police department, and they had one item on the agenda, Harrington Pool. I don't know the status of that. I think it's still ongoing. Plan Commission meets next Monday. Had a fairly large agenda, but 3 items are going to be either withdrawn or continued. The Olthoff Homes PUD, which was going to go up there 200 North. The petitioner has withdrawn that petition, so that won't be heard by the Plan Commission. The Rise Avon development, they want to add some additional acreage to that particular development, so they're going to have to push that DPR to the probably March meeting and go through a rezoning and plating process of their property. And then the Unified Development Ordinance, legal counsel has reviewed it. They actually reviewed it a while back, and some of their comments weren't incorporated, including additional language for small cell facilities, combined feeding operations, and solar farms. So we do need to incorporate that language into the ordinance. So we are going to request a continuance on the UDO to January 24th in order to accumulate and incorporate that language that the legal, our esteemed attorney has decided that we need to incorporate that into the ordinance. The 3 items on the agenda that remain there, the Aldrich are, not relatively simple. Obviously, the big one is the Easton Gray Plan Unit Development. This will be the second public hearing for that one. And I anticipate a fairly abbreviated hearing on that one because they'd already done their full presentation. I believe the Plan Commission will open it up for public comment again, but we only had 5 people at the initial hearing, so I wouldn't anticipate this one going long, and I'll try to keep my comments as brief as possible. The 2 other items on the agenda, the Aldrich Dental Parking Lot is a relatively small addition to a parking lot, and then the County Road 800 East petition is really a downzoning of the property R2 to ag, so the property owner can put a couple horses on their property. BZA, or the Plan Commission, BZA right now doesn't have anything on the January agenda. I would anticipate that's going to change. I know that there are at least 3 petitions floating out there somewhere ready to come in. And currently the January agenda of the Plan Commission has the final master plan approval of the Brookstone Plan Unit Development. And we've reviewed that one, and it looks fine. There's some drainage issues that they're going to have to accommodate, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward. So that's all from the plan side.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
John Taylor, Economic Development. I want to talk about Ready Grants. The Ready Grant program started about 5 months ago, and the governor put out $500 million to be spread across the state of Indiana and 10 grants of $50 million. And so we split up regions and became a region and went to work putting that together. And then all of a sudden we had 17 regions in the state, and there were only 5 of the regions that got $50 million. And they were regions that are on the borders of the state. Evansville, near Louisville, near Fort Wayne, and South Bend and Elkhart. The regions around Indianapolis got cut pretty big. We were asking for 50 million, the full 50 million, and we get 20. Now, what we asked for out of Avon was $3 million for Easton Gray to help build the new town hall, new civic area, whatever. And so when I was talking with the county economic development guy, he said, how do you think we should split this? And I said, I think we all need to get together, and we can't make people mad and say, we're not going to fund your project because mine serves more. So we kind of thought that everybody just get 40%, which is what we got in terms of the grant. But Robert Pope showed me a article from the IBJ today that says that Avon got all 3 million. So we get 3 million for what we want to do in Eastern Gray. So I think that's good for our community. $3 million of free money. I can't do that all the time, but I'll do it every time I get a chance.
The key is though, we have to spend the 3 million first and then they'll reimburse us for the 3 million. Is that correct?
Well, and we also have a match. So, I mean, if we do move town hall and do the whole civic thing, and maybe the cost of that is, I don't know, $7, $8, $10 million, there's 3 that you don't have to look for. And maybe this, along with what we talked about putting in from the town, from the TIF out of Eastern Gray was about 2.5 million. So if this is a $10 million project, I mean, we funded half of it already. So I just think anytime you can go out and find a grant that there's no strings attached. Yeah, we do have to spend the money. We've not heard anything about how quickly the money has to be spent. Many of the projects around the state that I saw are projects that are 8, 10, 12, 15 years. So they're not going to say, spend this by the end of 2025. But I would think we'd be looking at doing something in about 3.5, 4 years to be prepared as Eastern Gray continues to get bigger and bigger. So
Wonderful, thank you.
thank you for believing in what I do and allowing me to do what I do. And I still tell everybody I've got the best job in the world. So if you want to give me like 30% of the 3 million, that'd be fine too.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Steve, Sean, flip a coin.
Good evening. Sean Stoops, Chief of Police. Officer Tanner Brennan graduated from ILE last week. He's now in his reacclimation field training period. He celebrated his great achievement by proposing to his girlfriend this past weekend.
Did she
And
say
she
yes?
did accept, so that's good. Congratulations to both of them and their families. We honored and celebrated Officer Andrew Manick last Friday as he retired from the police department after almost 24 and a half years of service. We thank everybody that was able to join this that evening and make it so special for him and his family as he marked off duty with our dispatch center for the final time on the radio. Avon police officers and their families helped wrap gifts for the American Legion Blue Star Family Christmas last Wednesday. And then on Sunday before the event, we were honored with escorting Mr. and Mrs. Claus to the event. Lights and sirens blaring. So that was pretty enjoyable. Last Sunday, law enforcement officers from Hendricks County participated in our annual Shop with a Cop. This event is hosted by the Avon Meyer store. We thank them for everything that they did to help facilitate that, as they have done for so many years in the past, to make that such a good special time for the children and those families in need. We received over 250 brand new toys for children this month and distributed them to the Blue Stars Christmas as well to help supplement their giving, as well as Shop with a Cop. And then we also provided a large quantity of those as well to the Sheltering Wings program. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Steve, now you have to come up.
Steve Moore, Public Works Director. I was still working. Actually trying to accelerate the County Road, the 100, County Road 100 North Raceway Road project. I was negotiating with our engineer. We actually have a copy of the proposed layout shown right here. That's the preliminary engineering. We have to enter into the right-of-way acquisition process at some point soon if we want to accelerate this in order to qualify for some potential funds that may be accelerated. And this is all maybe stuff. And so that's why I was on the phone with them, trying to get them to obligate the time to get this done. So the preliminary layout, if you'll notice, it has 3 lanes going westbound to service Avon, and then the rest all have 2 lanes. It's shifted so it doesn't affect the florist shop. So their parking lot will remain as is intact. We will have to do some utility relocation as part of this. There are a lot of utilities out there. But this is where we're at right now, and so we're basically at 10% plans. We have on County Road 100 South, thank you for all of those that were there at the parade. It's open, obviously, from Ronald Reagan to Dan Jones. We do have the trees in the mitigation area now planted. We have the service points for lighting installed. Light foundations are almost all installed. Light poles and luminaires are in storage, awaiting an install date. I don't know for sure when that's going to happen, but Ryan was pushing them in our meeting on Tuesday. He was there, I was not, but he was pushing them to get that done as soon as possible. It is dark out there. And then traffic control is set for the winter there. On 150 South, the Avon High School traffic signal, we're still waiting for loops to get installed because it still is getting a false call for the high school entrance. And we also noticed that we have some bad loops at 150 and Dan Jones, although they're not affecting the timings there. The timings are working out really well, I guess. I haven't heard anything bad lately. So no news is good news. We also have a bunch of detectors that have gone bad over at Ronald Reagan and 200, so we need to get that repaired, although we were able to work around it so it's not getting a false call, and we are getting a left turn signal now that we weren't getting for about over a week, maybe 2 weeks worth. So that's kind of band-aided, I'll call it. See, Dan Jones widening, phases 1 and 2 are currently in the right-of-way acquisition process for at least phase 1. We anticipate environmental approval in January. Is my time up? Okay. How I will leave. Oh. All right, here we go. All right. A minute to win it. Here we go. Final utility work plans are due in January. Oh, no, I can't do it. Phase 1 and 2 are at stage 3 plans right now, so they're 95% done. So we're really well along the way on that. We're looking for a phase 1 letting in November, and then a phase 2 is scheduled for October of 23. But there is a possibility that could be moved up, but I'm not going to set any expectations for that. It's just a possibility. 900 East and Angelina Way roundabout. We're reviewing the draft engineering design agreement right now. Stormwater utility, we're continuing with repairs and trying to get what we can get done at this point with the weather. Stream bank protection for White Lake Creek. We received the approval for our wetlands mitigation site this week, and then today we received notice to proceed with real estate acquisitions. Our other standard things that we do, street sweeping is done. We did that for the fall. That's complete. Pothole patching is ongoing. Snow removal and road pre-treatment. We constantly are monitoring the road conditions for that. And a kind of fun thing for me is I'm working with Daniel on GIS. We're making our phones data collectors. I ordered a GPS, a Bluetooth GPS, and we're able to take our phones now and go out, and the first thing we're gonna do is Daniel created a guardrail there, and we're gonna map our guardrail from our phones, and it'll end up right up live. It'll end up on our GIS. So we'll end up doing that with our signs and streets and traffic signals and everything else too, but kind of fun stuff.
That's cool.
That's where we're at. Questions? Okay, thanks.
That was a lot. Thanks, Steve.
Good evening, I'm Jared Wade, Communications Director. A few things that I want to mention. First, last month, Steve had mentioned some signs that he and I partnered on to design and develop. The signs are here. They are beautiful signs, big special notice and parking signs. They're double-sided and giant QR codes. And correct me if I'm wrong with anything here, Steve, but the intent and the desire for these signs is they're going to be placed out in the community when there are special things happening, when some construction's happening, improvements, if there are certain areas that we want to make sure that there's nobody parking on sides of roads for repairs or curb repairs or things of that nature. This QR code is going to take them to a page on our website that will give detailed information about why that sign is there. Here's what's happening in the community. Here's what's going on. This is just another step in trying to educate and be transparent with all the residents and business owners and anybody that's just passing through, letting them know, hey, this is what we want to make sure that you know about. Very excited to hear that Building and Planning reached out to me this morning, and they want to try to get in on this as well. So there might be a third sign, but it's going to be just as easy. If you are unable to scan a QR code, you can always just go to our main website, avongov.org, and there are pictures of the signs over on the left-hand side. You click that, it'll take you exactly where you need to go as well. In addition to the signs, I've been working with a company called CGI on a video production. So there's probably been some questions in the community. Hey, is this company real? You know, what's going on? It's a really neat project that they're working on with us. And it's going to be this embeddable video player that they design that has the ability for local businesses, nonprofits, faith-based organizations, so on and so forth, to be a part of this one single player, and then this player can be embedded on other websites. So it's just a digital way of showing everybody working together. So if they go to a church website and they can see all the different maybe restaurants that are around there as well that are a part of it. So if anybody's watching and they are wondering, hey, is this real? It is, and it's a great company. We're hoping to have that ready to go on the website later on next year. I want to wait to get some video work done until summertime when we can show off the trees and we can show off people outside and enjoying nature, things like that. Also, they are open to using videographers that are local. So we're going to be using a local videographer, somebody here in Avon, to do all of that work. And we're excited that hopefully that works out and Nate will be able to join that. Lastly, Christmas is just around the corner, and we have a neat little map that you can visit, and it'll take you to all these neat houses that have Christmas lights. So on social media, people have been putting down their addresses, and if you go on there, you can see this really great Google map that will take you around to, it's about like 8 or 9, maybe 10 different houses here within Avon, and then there's one outside of Avon, but it's a really cool house. And I was like, you should drive the extra 4.5 minutes to go see that house. It's really, really neat. But it's been a really neat way to engage the community and them get excited. And now they're starting to post pictures of themselves driving around and checking out the lights. So it's been really, really fun. Happy to answer any questions.
I have a question. Did you find one to make your curtains for your office? Saw you out there on
Yes
Facebook
and
looking for that.
no. I am working with somebody right now that Julie recommended. She has a higher skill set of sewing and things of that nature than I do. So I'm working with her, but in my new office space, I would like to get little knickknacks of Avon. So if anybody's watching and they have little knickknacks of Avon, they have an old picture, they have something that is maybe from Avon 20 years ago, and they would like to donate it to be put in there, I'd be happy to include that. I think it'd be a neat history corner for me when I'm doing live at lunches and whatnot.
Got a question about your signs. Are these legal for public hearings? So we can use these. What's the requirement legally for public hearing signs? Like I just feel these are much more informative, much more easy to see. These beat the heck out of our current public hearing signs. So can we use these in that case?
You could if there's no legal requirement to use signs on post sign on property. That is through your local BZA commission.
Okay.
And so if you want to use signs with a QR code, it would be easy to adjust through your business procedure. But that's an interesting thing is there's nothing in the law that says you have to have sign on the property. That's a local thing.
Okay. Is this
Some might find don't have signs.
fair enough? Is this what you were referring to working with the building department?
It feels like it is.
Okay, okay.
The question that was asked to me was, can we are these able to be used for more than just like generic
Information.
special notices
Sure.
and no parking? I said, absolutely. And then they had mentioned specifically public hearings. And the only recommendation that I made was, if you do that, let's make up some that instead of green and red, we get like an orange background that has that so they can differentiate between them. And
Got
I
it.
can put a different QR code that will take them to those specific hearings that are happening.
Love it.
Yeah, great
Thanks,
idea.
Jared.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Jared, I just have one thing, and we can talk about it offline. I've got a couple comments back about that video program that you're trying to do.
Yes, CGI, yes.
Yeah, so I'll share those with you. If not later tonight, tomorrow or something.
Wow, way to set up a cliffhanger for everybody watching at home right now. Okay, yeah, happy to talk about it. Thanks. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to council comment and liaison reports. Aaron, you want to get us started?
Sure. A lot of great comments about the opening of 100 South, especially that it opened early. So a lot of people happy about that. And it'll be great to see it when it's finished with all the shrubbery and trees and whatnot. In addition to that, just wish a happy holidays to our entire staff and everyone here. It was a great year. We got a lot accomplished and excited for next year.
Ready to take a break. I believe you're going to be speaking on the annexation meeting and briefly on the audit. So I'll just touch on the township board meeting. Nothing real major other than they updated their EMT rates, raised those to be more, they can't actually match market. Like that's just not part of it, but essentially match the market. They gave a few project updates. Station 144 is on track. It's now winterized, so they're ready to keep it cold through the winter. They've had some logistical problems similar to like the police station, but they are scheduled to open on time, which is roughly March. Essentially the same thing with Murphy Aquatic Park opening in May, and then again they just had some end of year ordinances like salaries, meeting schedules, et cetera. That's all I got.
Greg?
You and I and Ryan had the boards and commission open house. That was the good news. The bad news is we had one person attend and that person did not live in the town.
But he was a nice guy.
But he is going to be on, there's a couple boards that you don't have to be in the town on that he's going to apply for. So we thanked him for that.
Yes.
Additionally, Ryan and I attended the collaboration meeting with the school, township, Senator Crane. We also had a meeting with the school regarding some property. I wasn't able to attend, but I had emailed Brian about Officer Manick's retirement and final sign off. And, you know, he was, like Sean, one of the first officers we had in our police department. So that's good for him. He's done a great job and hopefully he enjoys his retirement. You'll talk about it, but I just want to say that I attended the annexation meeting last night and very impressed with the materials that we had. I think Robert and Dawn and Ryan did an excellent job in trying to inform the community and give them solid data information. And I think what they found out was some of this increased taxes, if that was the case, was very negligible. So I think it was a good learning education for them. And then staff and all employees, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and we'll see you next year.
Steve?
I think it's great with the annexation that you're working on that, so thank you. So everybody working hard on that. Recycling District Board of Directors, we met this past Tuesday, and it kind of reminded me, I was so grateful for Julie kind of pushing us to get everything because of loading up on Gateway. We were down to the last minute trying to do a salary ordinance. And I thought, boy, it's good that we have Julie kind of pushing us along to do that. So just to kind of add a girl there. So appreciate that. Stormwater, we just reviewed the invoices by email, nothing big on that one. One thing I thought about is the Easton Gray, when we are going through those 5 intersections on your staff report, I think it'd be great if all the town council members could get a PDF of that, of the traffic impact study on that. If that's not too bad to do, And granted, I want it. I definitely want it, and I'd like to have all the correspondence going between the district too. But anyway, that would be of interest because we definitely want to move that along on Easton Gray, and everything we can do to understand it going up to our meetings would be helpful. One other thing on 100 South, on a positive side, the drainage. Hearing from like the Sun Chase people over on the east end of our area, it's kind of outside of our area, but with the lift station, the forced with the water in that area, the redesigns that have been coming about are going to really help for the drainage in that area. And so it's kind of nice to hear that there's an expanded benefit to people. As we're growing in Avon, it's nice to know that we're taking care of people just outside that area. So that was something that's a soft one. I wanted to make sure they mentioned that those, right now it's just 2 homes that are benefiting, but there's going to be more coming on that, I know. I think that's enough.
Okay, so this morning, Robert, Ryan, myself, and Julie attended the state and federal exit audit interview. We aren't allowed to publicly share the results of that until the report has been completed and is online at the state level. But just in an overview, Julie's done a great job for us. We'll just leave it at that. Next was the open house annexation meeting. That was last
It must
night.
have all been good because you're still here.
Yeah. Yeah. There were 3 police cars leaving with lights at the time, and we tried to scare her a little bit. But the open house annexation meeting last night was very well attended. Steve Moore was there. Ian was there from Building and Planning. Greg, you were there. Robert, myself, Ryan. And also, I want to thank our other taxing entities. We had Jeff Bradley there from the library board. We had Ann Engelhardt there from the school board, Don Hodson, township trustee, as well as Steve Blacketer from the township board. Everyone was there to show their support and to answer questions of the residents that came in. We think that we had 9 individual parcels of residents present at the meeting. It went really well. And again, I say the same as Greg, Ryan, you did a great job, especially having the materials there that spoke to them specifically about their individual parcel's impact. And again, for a lot of people with just the primary home, there's 0 increase in assessed values. The only slight increases that come with annexing into the town was if you have the accessory buildings or a swimming pool or something like that that has the higher tax cap. I also attended the Officer Mannix retirement, and it was very touching. It was funny to hear some of the stories as well, but touching. And like Robert said, he had 24 and a half years in at this department, and that's older than one of our new officers has even been on the face of the earth. It's amazing the service that he gave our community, and we wish him well in his retirement. And then, like Greg said, I attended the Board and Commission open house meeting, and it was very nice to talk with the gentleman. I hope that he does go ahead and turn in some paperwork for the boards that he's allowed to sit on. But again, just a call out to anybody that's online or watches this video later. If you have any interest in serving on boards and commissions or becoming more involved or having an input in our community, we welcome you to fill out an application or come in and talk with any of the 5 of us or Ryan. And that's it for me. We'll move on to new business. And first on that is the interlocal agreement with Hendricks County about the County Road 900 East multi-use trail. Steve or Ryan, who's speaking on that?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and handle it, and
Okay.
if Steve wants to chime in, he can. The county was working on a drainage project along County Road 900, if you guys are familiar with the area, kind of north of 100 North and kind of south of the Regency. There's a big flooding problem kind of along the east side of 900 East, and so the county kind of took on the drainage project. And so as they were doing that, they had to move all the swales out. And so it was actually kind of the same time we were working with the township on their new Station 144. And so we had a discussion with the county about potentially partnering together because our trail and sidewalk master plan shows a multi-use path along that area. And so specifically with trails, it's always really beneficial for us to kind of follow utility corridors. And so the county and the town kind of had a discussion about if there was a way for us to work together, that while the county was fixing the drainage, if we could just, as we follow behind it, instead of restoring it, we actually just build our 10-foot multi-use trail. And so the county agreed to put it in their project to bid it and at least see what it came out to. And as typically happens, the bigger these projects are, the better prices you get. And so we did get pretty good prices. It's a little bit under $200,000 for about a half mile. And typically what we've been running is about $1 million a mile. So it's pretty reasonable in terms of cost for us to do the trail. This agreement that the council has before you is actually the exact same agreement we signed at 100 South. It's just kind of flipped in reverse. So on 100 South, the town was the primary agency. We oversaw the construction. And so in this agreement, the county is taking the opposite role. The county will oversee the construction and the town will pay the county to pay the contractor then. We are proposing to use our recreation impact fee dollars to pay for this. We do have the money. We had budgeted some money to do that for this year. So even though construction won't start this year, we'll encumber the money from this year. The county has said that construction is planned to start on the drainage work in January, probably, if weather permitting. And so, by next summer, the trail would be done. So happy to answer any questions.
What impact will this have on Station 144? How close is this getting to that property?
It won't at all because they actually built into their design, the location, they actually had the 10-foot multi-use trail on their property. So we're actually going right up and connecting to Station 144. And then Station 144 is connecting to the Regency. So basically that entire mile from 200 all the way down to 100 North will have its multi-use trail.
And that area is already annexed into Avon.
No, this portion of area is actually in the county's jurisdiction. So yeah, we'd be paying for trail that's not in Avon. But again, kind of the concept of trails is we're creating connectivity. And if our residents can't get to places, we're trying to connect churches and places and businesses. And eventually we want that trail to go from 100 down to Costco into the YMCA. So it's kind of part of a bigger plan of how we create connectivity and how we connect people to places.
Is there anything special that we need to do then to appropriate those funds in an area that's not in the town?
Nope.
You're allowed to go outside your jurisdiction for purposes of transportation, just like roads and trails without, you have extra jurisdictional territory. The law gives you, I think you can go up to 12 miles outside your jurisdiction for roads and transportation.
My only other question is, you had indicated that typically on a mile stretch it was $1 million. Did we have an engineer's estimate for this?
Yeah, actually, the county, we don't have an engineer's estimate. We have the actual bid amount. So this is the actual bid number from the county, and Steve reviewed the estimate that was provided by the county.
Typically, we have an engineer's estimate, so when we get the bid, we can kind of say it was above or below the estimate.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
This would have been below the estimate.
It's below the estimate, and also it's consistent with all the connections. Like, again, I appreciate what you did on Rockville Road and talk with the district on getting them to finally see the light of that trailways and sidewalks are part of mobility that we need to look at. I think they're starting to catch it.
We had to drag them, but they're getting it.
You're dragging them just fine.
Any more discussion, or is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the interlocal agreement with Hendricks County for County Road 900 East multi-use trail as presented.
Do we need to include the dollar amount for that, just the interlocal agreement? Roger that. I second.
Just that it's under 200K.
I second Steve's motion.
All right, any further discussion? Julie, roll call.
Aaron Tevenbaugh.
4.
Robert Pope.
4.
Steve Eisenbarth.
4.
Greg Zuzen.
4.
Don Loudon.
4. All right, next is the engagement letter, the Youth Engagement Council.
Yeah, this is a program I had talked to the council about starting, working with Matt Hines from the high school, and then Jim Ditto, which is who this letter of engagement is with. Jim is from Winning Communities and has been helping communities across Indiana kind of create these youth council. And the goal is to get young kids involved and understand how local government works and how it provides value, and get them involved in the process so that, we talked earlier about boards and commissions and challenges. This is kind of grooming people in the future to be able to be those boards and commission members or future council members, to educate them about what we do as a local government. And so Jim has done this in several communities and has been very successful and has offered to help us. There is a cost there to help him to kind of facilitate and coordinate and establish the program. It is $5,000, and we did budget $5,000 in next year's budget. And so this is just a kind of a basic agreement on those services and how that'll work. So I'm happy to answer any questions. They have had their first meeting already, and they've already selected students. So they are kind of progressing through the process. Unfortunately, I was going to go meet with them, but it was the same day I did the podcast with Dr. Wyndham. So couldn't be in two places at once. But I think they have a meeting in January where I'll get to meet all the kids as well. And we'd love to. He would like all of you as council members, if you're available, to come to those meetings and meet the kids as well. We envision the role of the department heads and all the council to be a part of this program too, and to explain to kids and let them kind of see how everything works.
How do we gauge the success or the failure of this program? I mean, I'm assuming they'll come back again next year and they're going to want another $5,000. How do we balance that?
Yeah, not necessarily. I think originally when I had that conversation with Jim, that was kind of my expectation, that it would be $5,000 every year as long as we kept the program going. But from talking to him as it related to this agreement, that's really to get the program up and running. And then he has kind of said, I will continue to kind of contribute and participate to keep the program going. But once it's kind of established, it kind of falls on Matt Hines, the principal, and myself to kind of keep the program going and meeting the kids. So in terms of success, I guess the participation, I think, is the way we measure how many kids are involved and how that goes. I don't know how many kids they had applied, but I heard they actually, they couldn't allow everyone to do it that applied. So I think that's positive. That means there was a good group of kids that were interested in doing it. So.
So this won't run concurrent then with the school year because they've already started?
Correct. So they took kids from all different age groups. And so, so senior kids may roll off, but then they have juniors who've been a part of the program who would continue to be a part of the program. So that's the vision, is that this will continue to go on, and it's not just a one-year program. So they wanted to start it, get people involved, and then they'll keep them moving through the program. So, yeah.
Well, I see in here where it does say that there is no automatic renewal. So
Correct.
any further discussion or a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the engagement letter to the Youth Engagement Council as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Julie.
Robert Pope,
4.
Aaron Tuveba,
4.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Don Loudon,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth.
4.
All right, next is the Avon Parks Phase 1 site improvement and the contract amendment.
Yeah, so the town council previously approved an agreement with Context to, Context originally did our site designs, our concept plans, which are on the wall here in the council chamber. And then we did start the design work for that as well. The town council approved us to start the design work. With discussions with the Parks Council and the purchase of the summer lot property, we kind of decided, hey, let's re-envision what we thought we wanted at the town hall. And now that we've bought the summer lot property, do we maybe want to move some things over there instead of continuing to overburden the town hall park? So what we're actually proposing in this contract amendment is to hold off on the specific design work at the town hall park and take some of that money and invest it basically in doing the concept plan and the visioning for the summer lot property and kind of revisiting the town hall park at the same time. And so this is actually, the summer lot property concept planning is about $15,000, but overall, this is actually a contract reduction. We've done about $17,000 worth of work, which is survey work, which will still be valid when we come back later to do that. And so we did pay for that, plus the $50,000. We end up with about a $60,000 cost reduction. And so it is staff's recommendation. It was a recommendation of the Parks Council as well to approve this contract amendment with context to do the summer lot property concept plan design.
I only have two comments. One of them is, this is an amendment to an agreement, and they identify their property as the summer property and not the summer lot property. So I would say they need to amend that. And then the other thing that I think we should reach out to the residents of Stratford who have provided us with emails, and we've had discussions with them about their concerns about those developments, that this has been put on the back burner, and we've reshifted our focus to the summer lot property. And I think they would be appreciative of that comment as well. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, we can do that, Greg.
I make a motion then to approve the Avon Parks Phase 1 site improvement modification with the amendments as presented.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, Julie?
Don Loudon,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Aaron Teveba,
4.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
All right, next up is Resolution 2021-24, which is the 2022 meeting schedule.
The
Yeah, so,
highlight.
yeah, typically at your last meeting of the year, you have to adopt your meeting schedule for the following year. So this is following the same format that we did this year, which is the town council meets on the second and fourth Thursday of every month, except for October, November, and December, which we would meet on the first and third Thursday of the month. It worked out again next year to work out that way. And then it also is that we would have a work session, continue doing the work sessions at the first meeting of the month.
The first meeting?
Yes.
Can I ask, we make sure we check the BZA schedule, especially this latter quarter of the year. The BZA meeting was happening at the same time as our council meeting, and I don't think that's in the best interest of transparency to have both of those meetings at the same time. If we can look at adjusting the BZA schedule at that time to sort of flip-flop as well.
Any further discussion?
I'll make a motion, we adopt resolution 2021-24, the 2022 meeting schedule.
Second.
Thank you, Julie.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Don Loudon,
4.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
Aaron Teveba,
4.
Next is Resolution 2021-25, declaring a police vehicle surplus property.
I told Brian it would help him with this. I make a motion that we approve resolution.
I'll second it if I can do that. Okay. Yeah, it's very simple. We have several vehicles every year that we purchase. This vehicle here has got in need of major repairs. We're not interested in doing so as we move away from the Dodge platform. So we're asking for this to be declared surplus property. It'll be taken and sold through Odessa Auto Auctions, and that revenue will be returned back to the general fund for the town of Avon.
Is this old blue?
This is not old blue.
No? Okay.
Old blue is still in there.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? I mean, we're used to seeing this when this comes through.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we adopt and approve 2021-25 surplus property.
Second.
Great. Julie?
Robert Pope,
4.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Don Loudon,
4.
Aaron Teveba,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Get it sold.
Save old blue.
Final reading of ordinance 2021-29, which is the 2022 holiday ordinance.
Yeah, same as your meeting schedule. At the end of every year, you guys have to establish what the holiday schedule is for the town staff. And so that's presented here. It is the same as last year, 13 holidays. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Not a motion?
I make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2021-29, the 2022 holiday ordinance as presented.
I'll second.
Julie?
Robert Pope,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Aaron Teveba,
For,
Don Loudon,
4.
Greg Zuzen.
4.
Now on to the important stuff. Final reading of ordinance 2021-30, 2022 salary ordinances.
Yes, the council every year before the start of the next year has to approve the salary ordinance. The salary ordinance is the maximum that the town can pay employees for certain positions. I know you all have a paper copy at your desks. And so I wanted to point out a couple things. There are a few changes from the introduction that we did. Most of them revolved around the police department. Brian corrected a couple of the salaries for me. And so the sergeant pays and all of those have been modified, but again, meet what Brian submitted in the budget. And then I wanted to just mention a couple that were in yellow. And the only reason I'm bringing them up is that some of those dollar amounts are slightly higher than what was actually advertised in the budget. And I'm asking for a little bit of flexibility from the town council in the current job environment. And when we're hiring new people, it is difficult if I don't have any flexibility. So for example, on the receptionist, we budgeted $18 an hour. We're currently in the process of trying to hire a new receptionist. So if for some reason that receptionist would ask for a little bit more money, I wouldn't have any flexibility. I'd have to come back to the town council to get that approved. So I just put in there $20 an hour. It is slightly higher than what's in the budget. But again, if that level of position, the additional cost is something that I would, if we do pay them more, I will find a way to pay for that within our budget. We'll underspend from somebody somewhere else. Likewise, it's kind of a similar situation. The council is aware we've been trying to hire part-time groundskeepers, and we had actually boosted our pay to $15 an hour last year. So again, just to give myself some flexibility, I'm asking if we can boost that number to 17. So if we can try to be more competitive and attract people, I'd like to be able to do that. And then the final one is the Public Works Engineering Technician. That one's actually a little bit different. As you know, that's a new position that we've added, and we've been really pleased with the new employee. And so we didn't actually budget any kind of a boost in their salary because it was a new position. But we'd like to boost that salary position a little bit. And so that number is slightly higher than what was in the budget as well. Ultimately, that's a storm board expense, but as you know, we've actually budgeted for that position for like the last 3 years and it's gone unfilled. So there's certainly a surplus of money in the stormwater utility to be able to pay that. So we'll also communicate that to the stormwater board just to make sure. But I did want the council to at least be aware of that I did that there. I'm happy to answer any questions on anything else in the ordinance.
I have one comment. The second whereas says whereas Indian law requires, we can get that corrected to Indiana law.
Yes, we can. Thank
And
you.
other than that, with wage inflation, I think we have to do these type things. It's crazy out there in the market, I know. But we got to keep people. That's very, very important. So I support it.
Do you support it enough to make a,
I will make a motion. Boy, what a transition.
Thanks.
Concerning ordinance 2021-30, the ordinance establishing 2022 salaries, wages, benefits for employees of the town of Avon. I make a motion that we adopt it as we presented, including Exhibit A.
I'll second.
great. Julie, roll call, please.
Robert Pope,
4.
Aaron Teveba,
4.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Don Loudon,
4. Next is the final reading of ordinance 2021-31, which is the year, or end of year reappropriation.
So at the end of every year, in order to make sure Julie's books balance and everything works, we do have to do a reappropriation ordinance. So this will be my opportunity to brag on Julie on top of the fact that she had to work really, really hard for about 3 weeks as a result, not just 3 weeks, but the last 3 weeks. She's had to work really, really hard. She had the audit going. And there's always this funny thing we always say about audits is they always manage to decide to come at the worst time. So really when they decided to come was not an ideal time. And so Julie has had to work extremely hard. I actually had to make her go home yesterday because I thought her head was going to explode. Not only doing all the audit work, but then doing the end of year stuff as well, making sure we get all of our invoices claimed or paid and making sure we balance our books and that everything looks good. Her and Calvin both have done a fantastic job. So thank you to both of them. And so this is, you have a paper copy at your seats as well. I know you had the actual ordinance language, but then here's the actual reappropriations that are happening. And so those are just adjusting account lines to make sure that we don't have any negatives at the end of the year in any of our lines so that when we do get audited, that we don't have any audit points. So Julie and I are happy to answer any questions if the council has any.
I'm glad to see legal services is a deduction. That's very appreciated.
They buried it somewhere else.
And when you look through that, you'll notice in my account line, there's some money in there. That is just a placeholder for the encumbered funds that we're doing. That is not actually my salary line. It is just a placeholder.
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 2021-31 end of the year reappropriation as presented.
I'll second.
All right, thank you, Julie.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
Aaron Teveba,
4.
Don Loudon,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
We made it through. Legal counsel report, Dan?
I have nothing really legal. I just want to congratulate you on a good year and tell you that it's always good to work with your staff, and they've done a great job as well, which is probably why the attorney's fees are down, actually. But especially the department heads right now, all doing a really good job. And so it's our pleasure to work with your staff and with you. But it's really been a nice year. I hope you have a good holiday.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You
thank
too.
you. You too.
We'll reopen for public comment if there's anyone that would like to come forward. Sean, state your name and your address.
My name is Sean Stoops. I will not give out my address to the public right now. I just want to take a moment just to thank all of you for another tremendous year of support and providing us with all the resources that we need to do our jobs the best that we can. And we really appreciate the cohesiveness and the way that you all work together to make sure that that happens. And we want to thank Julie and Ryan, as well as the legal staff, because I know we burn up Dan's phone sometimes with questions and stuff, and he's always there to make sure that we get the right answer we need to make the right decision we need to make. So thank you for another great year. We appreciate what you do, and especially that you recognize what we do and help us continue to do that the best that we can. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you. Yeah.
No other public coming forward. We'll move on to council comment. This time we'll start on your end, Steve.
Well, just Merry Christmas to everybody. Like Greg said, it's always good this time of the year to say it's been fun, working this past year with everyone here on the town council and everything along. So it's just makes this part of life fun. We have a work world, and then we have this world. This world's been good. That's all.
I just want to reiterate what Sean said. I mean, I look at this as a team, and we have different components within that team structure. We have the police department, we have the manager, the clerk treasurer. I mean, and we've got a lot of things going on, and that's a good thing. We've struggled in the past, and certainly we've come together, and we see the light, and I just thank everybody here on the council for that, and look forward to 2022.
Robert?
I should have mentioned this at the first one. I appreciate the reminder about Officer Manick's retirement. After hearing all those stories, I feel like I have a regret of not getting to know that man better. It was very clear he was very impactful on both you two, your culture as leaders, but the culture of that department, and just wanted to really highlight that. And as well, happy holidays to our staff, to the town, everyone, and please have a safe new year. Looking forward to next year.
Aaron? Nothing? And I'll just say the same as everyone. Thank you to everyone, the support team. You know, we come in and we do our job, but we have the confidence to do our job because we know that you guys have done yours, and that's huge. You know, this isn't our full-time job, so we depend on our department heads and our staff and at all levels to keep up to date on everything and the laws and the requirements, and to help guide us so that we can be more efficient and make better decisions with what we're doing up here every year.
And one other thing that we didn't say, but we're looking for is thank you to the boards and commissions too, those
Yes.
people that volunteer their time.
Absolutely.
Right,
Good.
There is much deserved credit
yes.
is sometime we do, but then again, we'll give you the other side of that too.
Yeah.
Some of the grief with it, but they do a great job. They do their homework, they investigate it, they go observe it, and that's exactly what we want. So I thank them for that as well.
Mhm. I think we've got a great team. I'm glad that we've been able to hire additional people. You know, we're growing, and I'm impressed with the personnel that we've been able to bring on now as well. So just thank you, everybody. Have a Merry Christmas, safe holidays, enjoy time with your family, loved ones. And with that, we'll go on to council calendar.
Yeah, I'm going to hijack the council calendar too. And again, I'd echo kind of what Sean said. I had a great year. I hope the council is proud of what we accomplished this year. And again, I think it was a great team effort from all of our staff to the town council, to boards and commissions. And like you've all said already, it takes a team to do it all. And so I appreciate all of your support and supporting not only me, but supporting my staff and the police department and everybody else. And again, thanks as well to all my staff who I think has done a fantastic job. And all of them are going above and beyond the call of duty, and that's all we can really ask of them. So I hope they keep up the good work. And I think we have an exciting 2022 ahead, and excited to see what happens. So congratulations. This is your last meeting of the year. You don't have to see us again until January 13th. Just be out there looking for board and commission members, please.
All right, thank you. Meeting's adjourned.